Hello, I'm Amy Jones. Welcome to my watercolor tutorial of the bunny bum. When we were little, my mom never let us say B-U-T-T, so I can't say that word to this day, so we're calling this our bunny bum tutorial. You'll need a piece of watercolor paper. I'm using this Canson watercolor paper 9x12. You'll also need a brush with a fine tip. I'm using my number 10 Princeton. I'll also use my number 2. You'll need some water and a paper towel for blotting, and some watercolors. Now, of course, bunnies can be various colors between brown, gray, cinnamon, off-white. I'm going to use this burnt umber right here, and I'll just mix it with a little bit of this bluish, purplish color that I already have mixed over here, just to cool it down just a little bit. So we have that ready to go. So when you do a drawing, you start out with basic shapes and then adjust them from there. So we're going to start out with a basic circle. So just draw a circle. We'll do a circle for the tail, a circle for the head, and then we'll do some long ovals for the 2 ears. So these are our basic shapes. Now we'll just adjust them a little bit. Let's just bring this bottom part of the circle out a little bit. This is a fat bunny bum. Okay, so we can erase this inside part of the circle here. And then let's just make this a little bit more attached to the body and bring this circle out here so it's more of an oval there. Now we have one ear that is facing back. So we don't need a point there. I'm going to round that. I'm going to leave that line there. Let's erase this one here. Okay, now this ear, we can only see the top right part of the inside of the ear. Let's just make it a little fatter at the bottom of that ear there. Maybe we'll make this a little bit bigger because that'll be cute to see that inside of the ear there. Okay, and we can erase our other marks that we have. All right, there's our drawing. And we also might want to leave just some little white places for some grass, because in watercolor, remember that the white of your paper are your lights. So we'll leave some of those white so we can add the grass in later, because if we do a dark bunny, then it won't show up over the top of that. Okay, so let's dip our brush in the water. We'll get some of this burnt umber, mix it with a little bit of this bluish purple that I already have over here. Okay, first we're just going to do a basic wash. I'm going to go around. Little grass blades. Do kind of jagged edges for our fluffy tail. Okay, now any rounded shapes will be a little bit lighter in the middle, or the part that's closest to you. if it was 3D, will be a little lighter. So I'm going to take my brush just wet and just kind of that middle part, lighten it a little bit, lift some of that paint out. But the part that's closest to you, if you were thinking that this was three-dimensional, would be a little bit lighter, and then it would go darker as it goes back in space. So we can lift a little bit of this color out of the middle, and then leave it darker as it goes around the to the edges. Okay, and while this is wet, I am going to take some more of my brown, and let's just do some little fur strokes. We're just going to brush these out. So we want this to be a fluffy bunny. So with the tip of our brush, brush some of these out. Brush some into the tail. Give it some texture here. Okay, I'm going to get more paint on my brush. Let's do a little bit of texture in here. You can see this is already drying, which is okay. Just keep layering these brush strokes. So it looks nice and fluffy. And this probably isn't good for your brush, but we can even kind of spread this out a little bit so we could get some strokes like so. Just to get some more fur. We want to leave some of the light color underneath. Okay, now we're going to do the ears. So let's do just a basic wash around the outside of this ears. We could kind of use some strokes in there that will give the illusion of fur. Let's go around the edge of this one, just barely over here. I'm going to dip my brush and dab it on my paper towel just a little bit to make this lighter on the inside. Let's make this a little bit lighter too. I'll lift a little bit off that part on the right side of the ear. We can soften this line a little bit. Bring that down. Okay, I'm going to bring this all the way down. Now again, for that head, it's a round shape, if we were to think of it three-dimensionally. So I want that middle part to be a little lighter. I'll take this darker part and go around the edges so that it looks like it's three-dimensional. Just kind of blend that in. Okay, and again, we're going to make this a fluffy little head. Bring some of this up here. into that a little bit. I'll just lift that out the middle just to keep that rounded and then kind of blend it in. Okay, while that's drying, I'm going to just take my black and water it down quite a bit, just so it's nice and light. And we'll just add a few little strokes in here of our tail, just so it has some shadows and a little texture. So we'll just have these strokes just kind of radiating out just a little bit. Just soften them there just a little. Okay. Actually, maybe I'll add just a little bit of a blue hue here and there, just for fun. Blend it up. A little bit of shadow. Okay, looks like that head is pretty dry, so now we'll go in with my brown again and maybe separate this how we did before. And look this out. Nice texture in there. Maybe want a little bit up here on this ear. So that you can see these strokes. Add a few darker right between the body and the head to separate those. A few dark on the outside. Now I'm getting less and less paint on my brush as I'm using it, so when it gets a little lighter, I can then start bringing some more to the middle. There's going to be a little shadow underneath that ear, maybe right here. All right, let's do the pink of the ears. I'm just going to take my rose pink here. I want it pretty light, so I might dab it on my paper towel just a little bit and bring it down on the left ear and on the right ear. I'm going to dab it again and lift it from the bottom. Just a little subtle pink. Okay, now let's do the green of our grass. So I always like to do a medium green, just a basic medium green, a warm green, and a cool green. So I'm going to take my green and we'll just do our grass blades coming up this way, this way. I'll have a little coming out behind the bunny. Maybe a few right in front of that tail. Let's maybe just kind of blend this in down here. Bottom of the blades.
Now I'm going to take my warmer green, this is my sap green, and we'll add some warmer strokes in here. Do a wet on wet, just kind of blend a little bit. Now let's get my Viridian green here. This is a nice cool green. Just add a little bit of that in there as well, just to give it a little dimension. I think where the sun would be hitting on the grass, it'd be a little warmer, but then in the shadows, it'd be a little more cool. I'm going to take my number 2 brush and just get some black, and we'll have just some little whiskers coming out. Now that that grass is dried, I'm going to go in with my darker cool green. Just add a few little shadows, strokes coming up. Thank you for joining me. There's our adorable little bunny bum.